like to let Madison do an introduction, but we're here today for the Doug Meetup for Eastern Canada Business Central, and we've got some great content today. Without further ado, Madison, do you want to just sort of walk us through the intro slides?
Yes, definitely so. Well, thank you, Andrew, for the introduction. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Madison Zulowitz. I am the event coordinator here at Doug or Dynamics User Group. So I'm here to just give a quick introduction and presentation about who Doug is and what all we offer. So Doug is a free community for users, implementers, and resellers of Microsoft business applications. We mainly focus on Dynamics 365, GP, and Power Platform, and we're here to hopefully help people grow professionally and personally in their careers. We'd love to offer as many free opportunities as we can. And if you want to go to the next slide, Andrew, I'll kind of go over our rules of engagement. So our rules of engagement for these meetups is that we essentially just ask that these meetups are held to be solely educational. So please no sales pitches. We also highly encourage you to ask questions to your speaker. I know that the speakers always really enjoy it when people kind of engage with them and ask questions. And I think in the end, it helps everybody learn a little bit more when you ask questions. So I would highly encourage that. And our next slide kind of talks a little bit about the Doug programs. So Dynamics User Group offers multiple different programs and are always looking to add more. So if anybody has any ideas, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to hear them. But we have free online open discussion forums. We have webinars, conferences, local meetups like this one, as well as regional meetups. And we also have a YouTube channel where all of our meetups around the world, so all of our local meetups like this one, get posted to our YouTube channel. So if there's any topic that you are ever curious about, I would highly suggest checking out our YouTube channel. I'm sure that somebody around the world has done a meetup presentation on it. And again, it's just a really great way to kind of gain some free education. We have our 2025 Doug regional meetups coming up. So these are a little bit larger in scope than our local meetup like this one today. These are full day events, sometime 2-day events, and they are fully in person. So we have our Northeast regional meetup coming up March 12th in Philadelphia. And probably the one that's most pertinent to you all is our Canadian regional coming up June 16th and 17th in Toronto. This will be at the Microsoft office in Toronto, and we will be focusing on F&O, CE, BC, and Power Platform. So we'll have different session rooms for all of the different products. We're super excited. A lot of our leaders are on this call that are helping kind of get this regional meetup in the works. So if you're able to join, we would highly suggest it. It's a great day of networking and of lots of great educational sessions as well.
Oh,
We
sorry, I jumped. There we go. Ah,
okay.
sorry.
No worries. We're going to West Africa and East Africa as well. We're going to Denver, Colorado in August, Ohio in August, Europe in September, Texas in September, and we're going to Tampa, Florida in January of 2026. So definitely if you can make it to the Canada one, or if you happen to be in any of these other regions, we would love to see you there. And we have our largest conference of the year. So DynamicsCon 2025 is coming up May 13th to the 16th. This is a multi-day conference in person. We would love to have you there. Again, full days of education and networking. It's a really great way to get involved in the community, and you can learn a ton. So we actually do have a free ticket for all of our meetup members, but this does expire on February 28th. So if you are interested in coming, please use your free ticket and sign up before February 28th. We would love to see you all there. And if you have any questions about DynamicsCon regionals or just anything Doug related, feel free to send me a message in the chat and I'd be happy to help. And I'll pass it back over to Andrew. Thanks,
All
everybody.
right. Claude and I worked to put together the content and invite speakers and work with speakers to bring relevant content to you. If you do have questions or feedback, please reach out to either one of us. We're always looking for additional speakers. It's a great way to contribute to the community. If you need some coaching to deliver a session, we're happy to help with that as well. So please reach out to us. You can find us on LinkedIn, would probably be the easiest way to track us down. We're fortunate today to have Tony from Microsoft presenting our session on Copilot and Business Central. So Tony, if you would like to share your screen.
Absolutely. Thanks, Andrew. Hello, everybody. My name's Tony. Just want to turn on my camera to say hi to all of you. I probably need to turn off my camera during the presentation because I need to save a little bit of battery on my laptop so I don't die during the session. There we go. Let's see. All right. I hope everybody can see my screen.
We have your screen.
Awesome. Let me so give me 1 second. I don't even know how to turn off my camera. So I'm gonna just leave it on for the moment. If I die, hopefully I don't die during the session, but we'll see.
I will stop your camera.
All right, cool. All right, so happy to be here to talk about Copilots in Business Central. I also gonna touch upon how Copilot works around Business Central, because you don't only have Copilots inside of Business Central, but also all of those surrounding products, they also have Copilot capabilities. I want to dive into the issues that we're seeing across the globe, across the industry, across all of those organizations, especially in SMB, because we know in SMB space, those customers, those organizations, they don't have a lot of manpower to do all of those things that they need to do. So they have a lot of slow, tedious, and repetitive manual process. Sometimes they can even make errors, even though there might be some things that they're doing on a daily basis. They can still make errors because we're not robots. People make errors. So those are the issues we've been seeing for the past decades. And there's always going to be errors. People are looking for areas to improve. And all of a sudden, roughly 2 years ago, that AI came to work. So we've done some studies around how people are using AI, how AI is changing their life. So we noticed that 75% of people are already using AI at their work, and 85% of people are saying AI can actually help them to reduce the amount of tedious work that they're doing at work so they can focus on more important things. And almost 80% of the leaders, they think that they need to keep up with AI so their business can be competitive. And so we have this sort of AI transformation term. You've been hearing that for probably 2 years, that people are saying about AI transformation. But what exactly is AI transformation, right? We don't want people to do AI transformation for the sake of doing it. So there are a couple of things you probably need to think about before you even get started with that. Is how AI can actually help you to grow your business, to make some productivity gain, right? So we list a couple of them that help you to think about what are the things, what are the priorities that you need to think about. Is AI actually growing your business faster? Is AI bringing more revenue to your business? If not, is it going to optimize your business process flow, make your operational efficiency growing a little bit? Or maybe it's just for your employees. Is AI kind of helping your employees to boost their productivity, helping them to resolve their tasks a little bit faster, right? So those are the things that we need to think about before we step into AI transformation. So what is Microsoft doing? All right, so we have a lot of AI tools built into our products. They share the same term, Copilot. So you've been hearing this Copilot term for probably a long time. I'm not going to dive into what exactly Copilot is, but we do have Copilot features now in pretty much every single Microsoft products. Especially in the business application area, we have a lot of Copilot features in the Dynamics applications, Business Central, CE apps, and also we have Copilot features in Power Platform, and also the modern work, Microsoft 365. You can find Copilot features in pretty much every single product. If you're interacting with those applications on a daily basis, you can leverage Copilot to make your work a little bit easier and save you a little bit of time. So today I want to sort of focus on the Business Central piece. What Copilots that we have in Business Central? At this particular moment, we have 8 Copilot features. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of enhancements and maybe new Copilot features in 1.5 months in the release wave 1 2025. But at this particular moment, we have 8 Copilots in Business Central already. So all of them are focusing on the productivity improvement, creativity, unlock, and also helping the users to eliminate those repetitive tasks, to really help the user to leverage the tool to get more things done inside of Business Central. And all of those features, they are focusing on those 5 major things. It can either help you to understand what Business Central is all about, what functionalities that you can use inside of Business Central, give you some guidance, give you some Microsoft Learn documentation so you can follow along. It can also help you find some records. If you want to find a sales order or purchase order, a customer record, vendor record, you can use that to easily identify those records. It can also help you to compare the records. The one feature I like the most is probably the bank reconciliation Copilot. It helps me to reconcile the bank statements from my bank account and also those GL entries in Business Central. It can also help you to analyze data. You can leverage the analysis view inside of Business Central, but if you're not a pivot table user, you don't know how to create pivot table, you just want to use natural language to ask some questions and have Copilot summarize the data, extract insights for you. Copilot can do that as well. It can also suggest some product descriptions. We'll look into those features one by one in a bit, but those are the 5 major areas that Copilots are focusing on right now inside of Business Central. So I want to show you a list of Copilot features we have inside of Business Central, starting with this chat with Copilot. So this is something that we've been talking about for probably a year or so. It was available in the States only, not in Canada, unfortunately, but things has changed since 2 weeks ago. So now if you are firing up a new CDX environment for demo purposes, or you have a new Business Central, it's about to go live, or you simply just update your existing Business Central environment to the latest minor version, you will have that chat with Copilot features enabled in the Canadian environments. So definitely give it a try and see how you can interact with Copilot and have Copilot find records for you, provide guidance, and also links from my MS Learn. So basically just ask the question, whatever you want to ask, Copilot will understand your question and based on the question, give you some information. And you don't have to worry about whether Copilot will leak some sensitive data. It will not. It will totally respect the privacy and security that we set up inside of Business Central. So if the user don't have access to the data, Copilot will not give that user access to the data. The next Copilot feature is something that I refer to, that probably one of my favorite features as well, the bank reconciliation. I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, I'm not doing bookkeeping work because I just don't know how to do it properly. So if I need to sort of reconcile my bank accounts 100%, I'm going to rely on the Copilot. I would say it's an upgraded version of the auto match that we all have access to a couple of years ago. In the past, it's only sort of looking at the date, the description, the amount, and then it's trying its best to match the records. But now with Copilot, it actually understands what's the text inside of that description field. So even though you're not having exactly the same match, Copilot can still understand that, and based on its understanding, look at different things and give you that match. We also have the AI-powered analysis with Copilot. If you look at the right-hand side of the screen, you will notice that how easy it is to have Copilot analyze the data for you and create a pivot table for you. All you really need to do is just put in natural language, put in the English, what you want to look for. If you want to see the revenue grouped by the customer, that's the only thing to put in. And all of a sudden, Copilot will generate a view for you and aggregate all of those revenue numbers by customer for you. We also have e-invoicing matching with Copilot as well. So this greatly helps those purchaser if they live in Business Central. Their job is to make sure they have the vendor invoice tied to the purchase order inside of Business Central. They don't have to go through all of those documents anymore manually. They can leverage this Copilot feature. They can leverage the OCR capability to recognize the values on the documentations and automatically find the purchase order and have them linked. Also wanted to quickly touch on this one. This is our very first Copilot feature in Business Central. It became available 2 years ago when everyone's talking about AI, everyone's talking about Copilot. This is the very first Copilot feature we have in Business Central. Helps user to generate marketing text based on the product attributes. And you can even change the tone. You can change other things as well. You can add more granulars into this description. And then with the Shopify connector, you can post everything to your Shopify website. So even though it became available 2 years ago, but we're constantly making more enhancements to this feature. So I'm pretty sure it's much better compared to 2 years ago. So definitely give it a try. So we've talked about all of those Copilot features that help the end users. I also want to talk about this feature that help the admin to set up Business Central a little bit easier. We all know if you are working with number series inside of Business Central, sometimes it can be very easy. It's just one line that you create a number series for a particular table. You're off the hook, you're good to go. But imagine that you need to set this up for a variety of different tables, maybe all of those sales related tables and purchase related tables. In the past, you need to do all of those things one by one. You need to putting a prefix, you need to putting a pattern, number pattern. But now all you need to do, just tell Copilot what you want to do, what's the patterns that they want to use, and Copilot will create all of those number series for you automatically. The next one lining up is the sales line creation feature. If you only have 10 sales order lines, not a big problems. I'll probably just create those 10 sales order lines myself manually. But imagine there are cases where you want to create hundreds of sales order lines inside of one sales order, right? So that could be a lot of work if you're doing it manually. You can use Excel, you can use config pack, but sometimes it could create some errors as well. So why don't you just copy paste everything you want to create and paste it into Copilot? Copilot will find all the items that you want to sell, how many pieces they want to sell, and automatically insert those sales order lines into the record you're looking for. And for this particular one, I do want to mention that we also have the very first agent inside of Business Central. It's currently under private preview, but we're trying our best to make sure it can be in GA as soon as possible. Essentially, what that agent does is it monitors your inbox. If there is an email coming in, and Copilot thinks this email, this people sending the email is trying to purchase something from your company, it will grab that information, put it into Business Central, and it can also create a sales quote for you, generate sales quote documentation, drafted email, help you to send that back to the customer, and also convert that from the sales quote into a sales order, ultimately post that as a sales invoice. So those are the things that we're trying to add into Business Central to make sure we can automate those pieces for you, so you don't have to sort of do all of those things manually every single step of the way. We're trying to automate as many things as possible. So now you have the sales order lines created. What if you're running out of some inventory? You don't have that items anymore, but you still want to fulfill your customer's need, right? We also have that feature for that particular situation. We have the item substitute suggestion Copilot feature. So you can go to item card ahead of the time and turn on this Copilot feature and just tell Copilot that you want to generate a list of substitutions. You will look at item, we'll look at all of those attributes and find all the similar items that can be used if you're running out of one particular item. Okay, so those are all the things that we currently have inside of Business Central. But like I was saying earlier, in 1.5 months, we will have our first release wave in 2025. So definitely keep an eye out, and you'll probably see some more features in Business Central, or maybe some enhancements to our existing Copilot features. So those are all the Copilot features that we have in Business Central. One of the most common questions I got from the partners is, those features are cool, but are they secured? Can I use those features safely? Will Microsoft take my data? Will Microsoft leak my business sensitive data to my competitors or use my data to train a model? The answer is no. So all of those data that you have in Business Central, it's still your data. So we are not going to use your data to train a model. We're not going to leak your data. All of those data are respected by Microsoft responsible AI principles, and same as all other Microsoft products as well. So in Business Central, we sort of build on top of Microsoft's responsible AI approach. I want to make sure that we focus on all of those different areas: security, compliance, privacy, and also responsible AI. So if we take a closer look at all of those different aspects, so security basically means that Copilot can only access the data available to the user, right? If the user don't have access to some data, we don't want them to get their hands on the data via Copilot. And also for the documentations, for the guidance that we're going to provide via Copilot, I only use Microsoft official documents as the knowledge source. So you can 100% be certain that all of those data are Microsoft sort of protected information data. For EU customers, data will stay in EU, just exactly the same as all of those Azure regions. We respect that as well. For government users, they will have their data specifically on the cloud that designed for them. We will also not view your prompt. Prompt engineering is a very, very interesting topic. We will not steal your brilliant ideas about prompt engineering. So your prompt is still your prompt. You can always ask Copilot whatever you want to ask in a very creative way. We will not take all of those prompts away from you. And also the responsible piece of Copilots. They can review their Copilot output before it is saved, which basically means if you ask Copilot something, it gives you the answer. You can change the answer if you want, right? Because it's still called Copilot. It's not autopilot. It's just helping you to save some time, to make your life a little bit easier. You are still on the driver's seat. You are still giving the direction. You are controlling the end results. Other than those Copilot features that I touched upon, there are also some other AI features in Business Central. They've been there in Business Central for years. They're probably the first 3 AI features inside of Business Central: the inventory forecasting, late payment prediction, and cash flow analysis. So all of those features, they are available to every single Business Central environment that you fire up for yourself or for your customer. Analyze the data, from your Business Central database, you look at the past data and make some predictions, whether you need to do some replenishment, whether you need to be aware of there might be a risk of delayed payment, or you can use AI to predict your cash flow. But just be aware of the fact that Copilot features are out of box. They can be used from day one. But for those 3 features that you're seeing right now on the screen, it's better to use them after a period of time. Once you have some data inside of Business Central, it can provide a little bit more accurate results because it does consume the past records and past information and predict the future. So we've talked about all of those copilots inside of Business Central. I also want to touch upon all of those copilots around Business Central. So we all know Business Central can work with all other Microsoft products as well. Just to name a few, Outlook, Excel, Teams, and Power Platform, right? So we want to sort of extend that experience to make sure you can also leverage the Copilot features from all of those products as well. If you are using, for example, Teams to share some records with your managers, with your colleagues, with your potentially customers. Once the records is shared, you stay in Teams, and they can also use Copilot in Teams to ask some questions. If you are using Power Platform, you want to extend some Business Central functionalities, but don't know, not a Power Platform expert, don't need to worry about that because we also have Copilot features in Power Platform. So you can simply just ask Copilot to create those features for you. So we'll take a look at all of those Copilot features readily available to you. If you are a BC user, what are the available options for you? So this is probably the most commonly used feature inside of Business Central when it comes to Microsoft 365 Excel, right? So we use Excel to view our records, to update our records. Config pack is built on top of Excel. We also have Excel layout. So once you have data in Excel, you can turn on this Copilot in Excel to have it summarize the data for you, to find you some data insights, to write some formulas. If you don't know how to do it, you can totally do so. If you also have the Outlook integration built in, maybe you stay in Business Central, yeah, you can send email via Outlook without even leaving Business Central. But if you stay in Outlook most of the time and you receive emails from your prospects, from a customer, from the vendor, Copilot can also help you to suggest some time to set up a meeting, or maybe summarize the email if it's a long email, or suggest some replies so you can quickly send to the customer, the vendor, without writing all of those complicated emails. I can help you to sort of aggregate all the informations that you've chatted with this person in the past. So all of those features are available to you. They're going to do just go into Outlook and use the Copilot button, and it can do all of those for you. And we also know some business decision makers, they don't really log into Business Central. They stay in Power BI all day, every day. In the past, they can draw into the chart, maybe export the data into Excel and try to find all of those insights manually on their own. But now, with the Copilot in Power BI, they can also ask Power BI what they're looking for. And Power BI can quickly summarize the data, draw into the data, also suggest some pages that helps the decision maker to make a better choice. This is also something I like the most, Copilot in Dynamics 365 Sales, because we have that native integration between Business Central and Sales for probably 7-8 years now. In the past, it's only about setting up the integration so the data can flow from CE and BC, and also from BC back to Sales. But now there's one more reason why you need to set it up for your customers, or maybe for yourself, is you have that Copilot features in Sales as well. If you are a salesperson and you love seeing sales all day, every day, with all the data coming from BC, you already know what items that you have on hand that you can sell to the customers, but it can also save you a lot of time if you leverage the Copilot feature to summarize your opportunities, to provide some insights, to gather information from the past communications, and also draft some emails for you to reply to the prospects. So those are all the Copilot features that you can leverage. Not to mention that if you want to set up integration with field service, which is also natively supported right now, you can also use Copilot features in field service as well. So all of those are the Microsoft first-party Copilots, right? There are Copilots inside of Business Central. There are Copilots in Microsoft 365. There are Copilots in Power Platform. But what if you don't like those Copilots? You want to build some Copilot features that suit your business need specifically, and you think the Microsoft first-party Copilot is not doing that? What can you do? There are two options for you. The first option is 100% to extend the Copilot, right? And the second one is build your own agent / Copilot features from the scratch. If you want to extend Copilot in Business Central, there's multiple ways of doing it. You can simply go to App Stores and search for those apps available to you to see whether they have some Copilot features built in, what you can do, what partners has enabled. That you can, all you need to do is just quickly install that application into your Business Central environment, and you can use that right away. Or you can work with the partner to build a Copilot feature that's specifically for your business need. There are multiple toolkits that we made available inside of Business Central. The first one is the Copilot Dev Toolkit. You can build a Copilot feature using the same theme, using the similar sort of UI inside of Business Central. And don't forget to use the performance toolkit as well, right? Because you're building something new, you want to make sure the performance is good. So always test the performance, and also because this is AI feature, also test the AI feature itself by just putting a couple of prompts and see how it responds. And you don't have to worry about the security, privacy, compliance, and responsible AI piece, because everything is going to build on top of Business Central. As a platform, Business Central will have all of those aspects taken into consideration. So you don't have to worry about those. You don't have to worry about whether data is going to leak, whether my system is going to be down, because data is secured by Business Central, and Business Central is replicated and backed up in multiple Azure data center. So that's probably the easier way of extending Copilots in Business Central. Another way of extending Copilots or building your own Copilot features will be with Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio is also a Microsoft business application product, resides on the Power Platform site. Essentially, it's a platform for you to build a Copilot, or if you prefer the older way of saying it, a chatbot. So this chatbot platform can connect to different data sources. Business Central can be one of them. And this is so you will probably have access to Business Central directly from Copilot Studio in the release wave 1 2025, because we are actively building that connector for Business Central. We released the Dataverse connector, I believe it was September-ish last year. And this April, we're probably going to do that for Business Central. So you can bring all of those data from Business Central without putting Business Central data into Dataverse first and then connect to Copilot Studio. Now you have that direct connection. So it will make things a whole lot easier for you to build a Copilot on top of Business Central, because now you have direct access to the data. All you really need to do just to configure the logic, what you want the Copilot to do. And keep in mind, you don't have to be a Copilot Studio expert to build a Copilot feature, because we have Copilot features inside of Copilot Studio. It can help you, it can guide you through the build process, and you can just use natural language to fire up a Copilot Studio chatbot in literally minutes. So definitely take a look at Copilot Studio and just give it a try. And the most important things, it can be a standalone product. So imagine that you have a Business Central ERP application for your back office. You feed all the data into Copilot Studio, build a very good user experience and UI on top of those data, and embed that chatbot on your website. It can consume the data from Business Central and provide instant response to the users who are interacting with this chatbot. So I want to share this particular case study from Virgin Money. They are a globally operated company, and what they've done is they connected Copilot Studio with their Dynamics 365. So that chatbot is now capable of going to their FAQ, grab all of those answers, and feed that back to the users who's asking the question. It greatly saved their time, so they don't have to hire those users behind the scene and ask the questions and answer the questions. They have everything taken care of by the Copilot Studio chatbot. All right, this is probably the one last slide I want to show you. How can we turn AI into ROI, right? I also refer this page as the user adoption stages. So the first step is we want to make sure everybody start using Copilot. We want to make sure Copilot is available to all the users who are using Microsoft products. So if you haven't experienced those Copilot features in Business Central, so definitely give it a try and see what you can do. And ask a couple of different questions to see how Copilot can give the answer a little bit of different ways. So you can optimize the prompt and get the best out of those Copilot answers. And once you have that, you're probably going to look into the prompt engineering. So that's the I would say the most interesting piece while interacting AI, because we all know it's kind of a Q&A type of interaction. We ask the question and AI will give us the answer. But how can you get the best answer is totally depending on the quality of your question, right? So that's why there's a whole lot of topics around prompt engineering. We can ask our questions a little bit different and then to sort of get the most out of the AIs. And once you sort of master the prompt engineering, you know how to ask the proper questions. Next thing is for us to evaluate, is AI really helping us to increase our revenue, to grow our business, to boost our users' productivity, to help us to minimize some tedious work and improve the business processes. Once we have that, we analyze everything. We want to make sure we can scale, right? Because you've experienced all of those good things from AI. You want to make sure your colleagues, your users are experiencing those great AI features as well. So yeah, definitely go through all of those steps one by one. Get your hands on to Copilot, not only inside of Business Central, but also all of those products around Business Central, including Microsoft 365, Power Platform, or maybe just set up an integration with Dynamics 365 Sales and Field Service and see how Copilot can make your life a little bit differently. With that, that's all the things I want to share with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be here happy to answer the questions you may have.
Please feel free to type your questions into the Q&A option in Zoom, and we will review those. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Tony for the time today, walking us through and showing us the options that are available within Business Central today for Copilot.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me today.
So at this point, I'm going to just share my screen briefly. I will share the contact information for Claude and I. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And if you want to see more on Copilot Power BI, join us in Chicago for a great event and take advantage of the free ticket offer. So I'm going to, sorry, one moment, and I'm just going to share our contact information and say thank you very much. So if you do have questions or follow-up, whether you'd like to be a speaker, you have suggestions for future content, or any feedback on today's session, please reach out to us. This video will be made available on the YouTube channel, and keep an eye out for the session that we'll have in March. We're looking and planning to have more Business Central content for the rest of the year. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We're going
you,
to
everybody.
wrap up for today.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.